Yes, I
Alright,
made a
so it
pun
looks like we
featuring
are
him.
live. What's up, Future Fighters? Zach here. We got a new live stream for you guys. This live stream is over a few different topics, the latter of which will be superheroes. But to go over first, there's a couple events going on in our local area, the Maryland DMV area. So the first event that we're going to talk about is our Buddyfight Day. So Buddyfight Day is mostly an event for new players to kind of just promote the game, attract new players, and kind of just bring everyone's old stuff to the event so that players who haven't been into Buddyfight to allow them to get the commons that they need to build the decks, because a lot of times some of the commons and uncommons might be a bit harder to find.
Mhm.
So Buddyfight Day will be held this weekend, so December 12th, on Saturday at Dream Wizards in Rockville, Maryland. And the zip code is 20852. So, I mean, I expect only people generally that are from the DMV area to attend. But, I mean, feel free to come, but we're not restricting it to anything. If you want to make the drive, feel free. We'll have our tanks there. So I have two massive boxes, I don't know, like 6-column boxes full of commons. And I'm going to bring them all, and it's free for all. You guys can have at them. Just let me know what you're taking, and that's that. And we're also going to have a tournament too set up. And we're also going to give away play mats and other things that we may have on hand for new players and old players alike.
Mhm.
So I don't know if any of you guys. I know Justin's been responsible for holding his own versions of Buddyfight Days in the past. Has it been pretty successful for you guys?
Talking to us?
Yeah, talking to you, Justin.
I'm the creator of Buddyfight Day.
Well, you've had your own version of it, right?
Yeah, like I started Buddyfight Day.
Right. So just to let people know, what do you usually do for your Buddyfight Day?
Usually there's 2 competitive tournaments which you have to pay in for. There's a $5 tournament and there's a $10 tournament, and then there's one tournament. So we'll do the whole 5-on-5 Goku versus Aibo Academy thing. We also do a 3-on-3 tournament, tag tournaments, and what is it? I wanted to do it's not a slingshot or sharpshooter. I forgot the word for it. I don't know. But basically, you buddy fight somebody.
Famous.
Dr. O, like how they do in Vanguard.
Oh, Gunslinger.
Yeah, Gunslinger.
I hate
So right now,
doesn't that require a celebrity for a gunslinger?
Yes, it does. Like Zach over there. Then on top of that, I always raffle off Buddyfight stuff, deck boxes, sleeves, and mats. So those are freebies. Like you don't even have to win that stuff. But winning the free tournaments, you usually win promo packs, which is a lot more useful now since we only get promos like once or twice a month now.
Yeah, right now they're varying too, based off of whether or not you draft a regular tournament.
Yeah, I just got some of those Legend World ones.
Yeah, I got my playset, so that's nice.
I might need some. I have none.
It's really good.
Even though I'm playing Discard, I still want to check out Wido stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. I completely forgot that the witch cost 1 gauge in my head, so. Anyway, so I mean, Buddyfight Day will be pretty similar to that. It's pretty much more free-flowing than anything, so.
Yeah.
Those team tournaments definitely sound interesting. Justin, do you have deck restrictions for the team tournaments?
Deck restrictions for the team tournaments, yes. No, I actually didn't. Because I did a full-on team tournament. It was just like all Darkness Dragon World. But how the restrictions go when you're playing an actual tag tournament is that you can only nullify tags that say, like, when your opponent attacks, nullify an attack. As opposed to where it would say a shield would say when your opponent will attack you. So you can only cast like shields like Green Dragon Shield for yourself if you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only restrictions. And stuff like Ragnarok does not target all players. It targets any player of your choice and yourself when you cast it.
God damn.
Oh wow.
I'm
Okay.
controlled by my friend right here. We both discard our entire hands. Yeah.
Bruh. No.
Yeah.
Bruh, no.
Well, no. I play discard too. So if you do it against them, I'm okay.
And the tag format it can be pretty savage because you roll
Okay.
dice for turns. So you may not even get a turn like before the full rotation comes around. And only I think the first 3 people can only attack once. But the first 2 people, if they go before you, can attack you. So if you and your opponent, you and your partner don't open up with shields, you could potentially die before you even play anything.
Okay.
That sounds very unpleasant.
Yeah, Magic is a lot. Attack you for 3. First volume Solomon's hardcore. Now you're 4.
Yeah.
My partner's turn.
Hardcore overstand combos and stuff. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
But it's in the game, bro. The savage is real.
But I mean that's Buddyfight Day. It's mostly just to promote the game in general. So we encourage new players, old players to show up, play Buddyfight, spread the community.
I definitely support that. That's tight.
Yeah, it's just think in Vanguard G with the Dragon Empire having their festivals.
Yeah, I don't watch Vanguard anymore.
We just
I
need
haven't watched a
some,
Vanguard episode in like forever.
Ever since they stopped showing the entire match, I lost interest.
What? Oh yeah, definitely.
They go, I play a size 3, a grade 3. I'm like, man.
That's
they've gotten better
Buddyfight
with
is.
that. Not gonna lie, but I mean, it is what it is.
Right, but anyway, so that's just the first event. So the next event that we've got going on, December 19th, the very week after, the day after Buddy All-Stars drops, we'll be hosting the 4th Buddyfight Dynasty Cup tournament. So Dynasty Cup is our little local tournament. It holds, a little higher regard. Maybe it's above shop, but maybe below regionals, just because of the sheer numbers that have showed up right now.
It's like
Right now, I think we get anything between 20 and 30 players where we compete for a prize. So last live stream, I showed you guys a demo of the trophy, which was the core deck case. And the core deck case is, I use a 3D printing company to actually print a core deck case. And it's capable of holding sleeved cards, double sleeved cards within the deck with enough space for sideboards and whatnot still too.
That's tight.
Yeah, so that'll be the prize. But the Buddyfight Dynasty Cup is something we've been doing for Vanguard and Buddyfight for a while now. I don't know, it's going on at least a year or so right now, maybe even a little bit longer, where we just go to a shop somewheres in the Maryland, Virginia area. Say, we set up the shop. Man, people, come on, people, just play a tournament. There's still pack support, so you can win multiple boxes depending on how many people. I think right now we'll probably get at least 4 boxes, I think, of the extra booster for Buddy All-Stars.
Wait, 4 boxes of Buddy All-Stars for the winner of Dynasty Cup?
I believe that's what it's going to look like. But that's I think that's if we get 20 people, because the last Dynasty Cup we did 4 boxes of, what was it, the Golden Buddy Pack or something? I don't even remember. Maybe it was 100 Thunders. Yeah, I don't remember how many boxes Justin got. But it might end up being about 4 boxes, which would be pretty tight. And that's Dynasty Cup. I mean, I think all of you guys, except maybe Jamel, has played in Dynasty Cup. Are you going to be here? Are you going to be here for this one, or?
I should actually be in town the week of, so I'm going to try to stay till the weekend and make it.
Nice. Unfortunately, I'm going to be already flying out to Kentucky by then, so I won't be there for the tournament. But I left the trophy with Juan. Tell Juan, because I told him I had scheduled this in August, and in November he gets this date. I'm like, what? But that's Dynasty Cup. I mean, have you, just now the question to you guys to clarify, have you guys had a lot of fun with Dynasty Cup? I mean, what kind of things do you expect from Dynasty Cup?
Well, I mean, after the last one, I kind of stood at a chalkboard and wrote 100 times, I will not spell null set spells.
Especially with Kaiser Ion, where you can pop those suckers later. Yeah.
Well, when you spell null a prep, then okay to launch, and you realize
Yeah.
you've only got one Call Super Machine, no Hyper Energy, and no Kaiserion in hand.
Yeah. And when
Yeah,
you did that, I was like, yes.
Definitely. Yeah. There was definitely some lessons learned after.
I could have swore there was a Kaiserion in my hand. I really could have. Like,
you should probably, before you do any play, just always remember there's the big Robo in hand.
yeah. Oops. Sorry. Dropped my phone. Yeah, I'm actually doing a little project now, testing a lot of different builds for just all around Hero World, so I can bring the best Hero World deck I can. So you be ready, Justin. I'm bringing the heat.
If I come, I'm definitely playing Hero too. I don't know between Robos or Supers yet, but my Braves are looking a lot better. Supers, I got another build I'm gonna try out, so we'll see.
And a question that we got from the live stream is already asking if whether or not Dynasty Cup will be streamed. So in the past, it has been streamed, and we've asked already, and they said they will provide streaming capability for those who cannot make the Dynasty Cup event and just want to watch our featured matches, where we generally have tournament matches, and then we have also matches that go on in between while we're still trying to finish out the rounds. So if you guys can't make it but still want to watch Buddyfight, we will be live streaming on Twitch or YouTube or something, but we will have live stream. So, all right, so that's all of the talk of our events for now. I don't think we have plans for anything else in the near future. If not, I mean, we'll probably do a stream next week or after Christmas or something. But now we have our superhero talk for Hero World. So my understanding is Heroes, from what I've been playing, is a super quick rush deck, emergency launch, Captain Answer can make for some ridiculous turns, ignoring some of the other stuff that they're capable of doing. But I'm not the expert here, and I'll let Jamel take over the superhero and lead the talk.
Sweet. I'm going to say before I start the discussion, anyone feel free to chime in. However, actually no, there's no however. Let's just get started. Superheroes. Why are they still relevant? Why, with item hate, they're still good? It kind of makes me go back to the discussion that we had before about how, with once Shadow vs. Hero came out, there was multiple really good builds, and all of them have their strengths and weaknesses. A couple of them, with item hate being one of the issues of Hero World, can circumvent. A few of them can do it better than others. Prime example, Guy Grander. As long as you have a playtime in the counter, if they decide to try to destroy that item, well, their specialty is to swap in and out of their Guy Granders between Analyze Form, Guy Grander 1, Final Mode. And based on whatever the turn is, based on what if it's on your phase or the opponent's phase, you have an option. That, as well as, like, for something to pop any superhero, we always have there's an after image, which luckily, even if it is transformed and considered an item, it is still a superhero, so it still works. But superheroes have, once Shadow vs. Hero came out, have been known to just, you don't get that much time. If they get their feel set, you don't have that much time, and the rushdown is, like, real. Most know one of the key cards for superheroes definitely is a emergency launch Decker Drum. It's no surprise. But there's a lot of other really good support alongside them that makes them just as deadly. One being the Final Answer. Final Answer. There we go. That's his new name. Captain Answer Final Mode. Even though Captain Answer originally was a little, like, he was really spotty to use just because you couldn't really guarantee that you knew what your top card was. Captain Answer Final mode was a little bit more high risk, high reward. That if you did go off, you were destroying a monster as well as getting double attack. That on top of his Kaiser Ryan like stats was really, really devastating. I think actually before I said it, doesn't he only have 2 crit? 2 crit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God.
But attack and defense are pretty identical to Kaiser Ryan, which is like insane.
Well, he's got 2 crit until you what? Arduous training.
Right? Archer's training. Oh my God, Archer's training. That card alone, and oh my God, get a good transform with 2 or 3 crit. Archer's training, emergency launch drum, and a size 1 ends games if there's an open center and they don't guard anything.
It's so scary.
Like my superhero build, I still play Rampage Sonic. It's basically a Drago Brave with a cheaper cost and 3K defense. It's a 5/3/3 for 1 gauge to transform, free to call.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Put him on the field with an emergency launch Decker drum and any size 1, preferably 2 crit. God forbid you have arduous training. If it's uncontested and you maximize all your attacks, you're doing 13 damage down the center.
Yep, it's so scary. And plus, you can run the impact and shit too, right? Even though impact's kind of, to me, it's a little bit spotty, but it gets there.
The thing that's weird with superheroes, I know we got a couple to our disposal. We still have the Child Deck one. The thing about it is you have to have a clear field. Kind of not a big fan of that one, the mathematic equation, whatever. And then you have Justice Driver, which deals 3, and there's no life restriction. But it has the same requirements as, if I'm not mistaken, Heroes Climax, where you have to destroy your superhero, destroy 2 or more monsters, but it's a little bit more lax with the condition.
Yeah, it's just 2 or more monsters on your opponent's field have to have been destroyed that turn. Doesn't say how or by what.
Right. So it's a little bit, like I said, it's slightly more lax. The thing is, and it's weird, is superheroes honestly really don't need it. And now that like there's the only way to really counter that, I guess, so far, if there's just like 1 monster down the middle, no soul, no multiple destruction, that you're not using that impact. But superheroes, honestly, the way they rush game, they really don't. You don't need room for that. Just simple, basic beatdown. Use drum. Have your spell lineup maximize offensively and defensively. I mean, you're pretty much good to go.
I mean, can they win without emergency launch drum?
Emergency. You have Final Mode or Captain Answer instead.
You got Answer. Oh my gosh, I got a feeling it might be a little bit easier, at least for maybe in my opinion. I'm definitely ready to test this out. Captain Answer style decks, especially with the new spell coming.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people before were kind of forcing a heavy monster ratio anyway, and it's the Captain Answer Final Mode decks were pretty successful, I think, with the top heavy monster decks.
Well, you know the crazy thing behind that? Actually, I was looking into a lot of deck builds, and there's one really eccentric build I saw the other day. I can't be the only one that saw this, but this dude, someone posted on the page, all monsters, no spells, no impacts.
He had 4 hyper energies, he said, in his deck. I think was on the post that he forgot to put in there.
But you know what? That build, and he says he wrecks with it, and if he has Answer, I'm not surprised. Because
wait,
your deck is
a Captain Answer deck with no spells, no impacts, just monsters?
Yeah,
it had 4 spells, 4 hyper energies, that was it.
So
Everything else was transforms, monsters, support monsters. It was 4 final modes, 4 Captain Answers. I looked at it and I was like, oh, if he gets Answer, I know why he wins games. How often were you going to fail on that? It's practically a cheat sheet.
The only thing you gotta do is not get item hated. That's how he loses if he gets item hated.
Yeah.
What's sad
That's
is
like the only thing.
yeah, what's sad is with all of the recursion ability from rescue dragons, using what the size 1 that can grab a rescue dragon from the drop and add it back to your hand.
Transmission.
Transmission. And the fact that you can have the one that you can discard to build gauge. And
there's one you can play to draw cards.
Project Gunner. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got the one that when you call it, if you're transformed, draw a card.
So Barrier, really good card.
Yeah. So all around, and between that and using Drago Shovel to pop your opponent's monsters and burn for damage.
I'd still be tempted to run at least like a set of nulls.
I like them.
Bro.
Well, that's the thing is versus Penetrate that does nothing.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing to worry about, and I mean Penetrate is a thing. Especially with a lot of worlds, and some of them are actually pretty proficient at doing it a lot. So, that's kind of the weird thing with superheroes, where Mockgraver is an amazing card, but go against someone like I don't know, like Danger, Armor Knights, who can easily set up a penetrate weapon or something, then you basically lose a card to use. So then nullifiers would help. If you have at least a decent amount of defense, then it's called New Suit is a good card defensively because it boosts your defensive stats so high. It's like a Wrath of Dragon for Transform, and anywhere else is a +2/+2. It's just things to consider. But I think with Hero World, with their inherent defense on all their transforms, is it's going to keep them in format. Because even if the item does nothing, you still have to hit a certain number to even deal damage.
Yeah.
And that's something that and knowing the spells that they have, sometimes that number that you think you can like easily hit and still deal damage ain't enough sometimes. So, like, on top of having, Leave This Here and Move On, the set spell that is basically a Cavalry Academy for Transform and Ride cards, stack a couple of those, and now you're an even bigger wall that's flexible. And not only does it work on Transform, it works on the field, too, which is, like, tight. You sound like you have something to say there, Justin. Go ahead, Doc.
I was going to say, just playing against superheroes, a lot of times it feels like you open up with some form of counter or you're going to die. It was like, luckily, like every time I played against a Captain Answer deck, it's like I had Barbed Wire or Death Grip in my hand. It was just like, no. And it was like I still lost half of my life that turn.
They hit so hard so quick, man. Like,
it was just like if I could survive 2 turns, I ultimately won. Like I would just kill his monsters, and then
you know what? And this is kind of another thing I kind of thought about with superheroes, especially compared to Brave Machines. Like for example, like when I think of Kaiser Ryan decks, most of the time when you're transforming, you're using at least 2 gauge, right? With superheroes, there's a couple of there's a couple that's 2, but there's a lot more that are 1s, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
So like the cost to transform, like for most of your monsters, or most of your monsters that can transform, like. There's exceptions, obviously. There's the Captain Answers, Final Mode, and Base.
Rogue Leader.
Yeah, you have Rogue Blader, that's 2 on the field or transform. But, like, look at Quartet 5, for example. All those are 1. Except for Dezium, which is 2 and bounce a monster back. Bounce a Q5 back from transform.
Yeah.
Arguably, you probably even run some of the Q5 transforms for backup anyway.
You can, just because of the fact that they all work with drum. You're still restanding your item and burning if it doesn't get destroyed. And like that.
So I guess an important question for potential superhero builders: how many transform targets do you like to run in a deck?
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Because it's important to know, right? Because you have
It
so much
is.
item hate in the game that if they destroy your final mode right after you charge and drew your other final mode,
Right.
you're
Like,
SOL.
okay. For me, I play superheroes since basically the very beginning. Like after my short run with Heartburn, which is like literally a week, I played superheroes. I still play superheroes. Um, but when I was playing them, I guess before they got a lot of really good support, I ran at the time only 4 transforms, and it was literally just Rampage Sonic. But I also played 4 Takasuke's because I believed in the burn. Over time, especially once Emergency Launch Decker Drum came out, the fact that he works with any transform, I noticed that he would definitely be a big focus in superheroes just because of the fact that his skill alone, if uncontested, pushes endgame so fast. So I want to be able to do that as often as possible, so I definitely increased the number. Um, Shoot, actually, if I look at my superhero build now, I think I run now on average minimum of 10 transforms. And I think in my deck I might be running more. I think I run 12.
Yeah, I think I
Um,
run about 12 in my own version.
um, the first deck I saw that I liked that actually looked really efficient, I think it had like 14. And I think it ran like 4 Einder, 4 Gear, um, a lot of Road Blader, Rampage Sonics. Um, and I mean, I understood, and the Captain Answers, and I understood why. Just because anytime you have, like, you want to be able to if you get Emergency Drum, you want to have a transform ready to go. Like, you don't want to have to wait for it. And the more you have, the easier the chances you have to get going. But not only just him, that's like it's important to have so many transforms or to have a decent amount. It's also because of your transform support. Like, let's say you were playing Rescue Dragons and you were using Justice Drum, or you want to get a draw off of Steel Barrier, which is basically like the closest thing to Drago Archer for superheroes. You want to be able to utilize your transform benefits as often as possible. So I think a minimum number to definitely run for a safe bet would be 10. I used to say 8, but I think that's too low now. I think 10 is a decent number. 10 to about 12 to 14.
I think it's easy
Um,
to bump it up too, just because they have some. Yeah, like you were saying, that lots of people run Einder. He's a size 1 transform target, so first having 5K, so he's got some beat stick potential. Second, he's a size 1, so.
That's the thing I love about him, and that's what I like about a lot of the transforms. A lot of the base superhero stuff, like okay, Rampage, not Rampage, Red Road Blader is a good card. He is good to pop monsters when he enters the field. You get 2 shots with him for every 1 in the uncontested. But besides him, like, and a few others, there's a lot of really good, cheap superheroes with really, really easy costs that you can play around with. You have Einder. He's a Rapier clone with Transform for a gauge. That's really, really good. Especially when Kaiser Ryan was a thing and you wanted to see what could hit something. Okay, cool. You have Einder. He easily can hit as a Transform. He can hit on the field. And he was a size 1, so he didn't take up much space. You have Veer. Veer is another optional good ride, mainly for 2 crit, and his attack power is not too bad. And I mean, it's a transfer in power and defense. You lose the power, but you gain the defense. You have Rampage Sonic, which in my opinion is one of the better cards as far as cheap Transformers go, just because he's free to call. He's a size 2, but he's a 3 crit. 3 crit hurts, no matter where he's at on the field, whether he's transformed or on the side or anything.
Undercosted pilot.
And then he's definitely undercosted. I used to debate that a long time ago with my teammates, and then after kind of looking at Drago Brave, I kind of rethought that statement. The fact that you're only paying Dragon World had the same card with the same stats minus defense for a card. You had to discard a card from your hand and a gauge. The fact that you're only paying a gauge to put him on to an item spot, yeah, definitely undercosted. And that's what also makes him super efficient at the same time. Like, he's an easy go-to first turn card. Like, oh, cool, I'm gonna hit you for 3 crit, and that didn't really cost me much. Hell, leave him at a monster spot and it didn't cost you anything. Just play him out of hand. And I think for even though people you want to definitely play final mode. Final mode is a really good card. Quartet 5 helps with optional extra transforms at cheap costs. Because beforehand, I don't know if people noticed, but like when you played, if you played Quartet 5 when it first came out, just the super vanilla build that it was, everything was a gauge. So it used to be. In that deck.
How are you dealing with all of the item hate like barbed wire? Because I know that can bring like your offensive turn to like a complete halt.
It's with barbed wire. It's really a matter of it sucks because in certain aspects you might not be able to delay it then or stop it then, especially if they play it like on if they play it like correctly. Like, for example, let's say you go for a Captain Answer's skill and they barbed wire you. Well, you're getting barbed wired even if you get the answer right or not. And it's effective. You have no counter timing for that because they're doing it in response to your ability, so you have no response. I think what we used to do before with superheroes, and I noticed in a lot of people's builds, especially when they started to like really get a lot of stuff, is they overcomplicated the decks. I feel like that hurts a little bit more than helps in the format. However, you definitely want to always try to push with drum if you can, but also know that turn, if you try to resand your item, like that's an opportunity for them to barbed wire you for free. Simplistic plays, I feel, help more, but also, and that's just for most superhero builds. Like, I try to exclude Guide Grander because they have it a little bit easier. Actually, they have it a lot easier.
Guide Grander's a
Barbed
different
wire
animal.
them. Guide Grander is like, okay, barbed wired me, that's cool, switch. I mean, you also have other options to do something like with it. You have emergency trans as an attack option. However, I would say be wary of it because you're paying a gauge for a counter speed switch and on top of whatever your transform cost is. So if your deck doesn't officially build a gauge for it, it won't do you but so much good. With Q5s, you need 2 gauge available, and that's a little bit easier to accomplish as opposed to like trying to quick transform into like a Captain Answer or something, or a Rogue Blader.
Yeah.
Item pop. Like if they try to destroy the item, well, there is an after image. One answer. If you have to play time to retaliate. Same thing with spell nullifying. Which same thing could be done with barbed wire, but the thing is that most people, when they play barbed wire, especially like superheroes and braves, they're going to try to do it in the response to an ability or to something that you can't reply to. They would do it with any type of item hate, but barbed wire definitely know to play those correctly. Simple plays, I would say, would help against that. Also, knowing that your deck can do well outside of your transform helps too. Because, like, let's say your opponent has an open center, and you know they're probably going to barbed wire. And you have, like, let's say you have I guess the hero Gal formation, a transform, a 2 and a 1, and the 2 is like a emergency launch deck control. You can look attack your monsters and still be putting pressure on the board, especially if there's an open center. So that if they decide to like stop your item, you're still maximizing your attacks out. You might not be getting the burn, but I think what another way to play drum, and this is like personal. This is like from personal play. Like I know we want to do it with the item because you get the burn, and that one burn definitely helps along with the rest of the damage and stuff that you're gonna do. But if you know, like there's definitely there's good counter attack hate for your item. You also have your monsters on the side that can do the same thing. Just without the burn, but you're still putting pressure out and still getting multiple attacks. So again, all excluding Guy Grander, just because Guy Grander has an easy out most of the time.
Okay. All right, I got another question.
What's up?
I see a lot of people mashing in the Omni Lords everywhere, and I think that is totally wrong. Like, every deck does not need every Omni Lord, but I just want to know, what would you say are some of the staple Omni Lords for superheroes? 'Cause I know Burnover is like hands down the best for Kazarian because it makes like a really defect. Like,
Kazarian is a douchebag. It's a stupid play, especially if Kazarian has soul, because you still have Kazarian and a Burnover to deal with, which is like, yeah.
Do you see the look on my face?
I know you love it.
No, I did that. I did that on Friday because I had 2 soul, and the soul I burned was not the suburb.
Good. That's amazing. That's so scary. You know what? The funny thing is with Omnilords, I feel the same way. I know Omnilords are there to be that one card that can be put in any deck, but I tell people, unless you see a super overwhelming need with the Omni Lords, don't be so quick to just rush, like throw some in. I first used to like build my deck without it, and then see what good ones I can add on the side or what can complement it. Except for my discard deck, that one can just like, it's like a Legend World discard. Seems almost like a haven for Omni Lords. Just insert Omni Lord here, and almost all of them work. But
I guess you
superheroes?
could say that all the Omnilords are legendary.
I see what you did there, dog. I say some good ones. Burn Nova is a good consideration for just about any deck because of it saves you from death.
Yeah.
However, other ones and ones that I used to run, Tembu, just because even though people aren't considering it like a top 3 Omnilord anymore, entering the field, wiping out the field, it's still something to consider for Braves. I mean, not for Braves, Supers. One that I'm definitely wanting to look into because I feel like it gives it the true superhero, super gal formation, is the new Countdown when that comes out.
Yes, the new Countdown is so good for that.
I'm thinking about it just because, like, you know how, and it's funny because I started, like, me and my teammates were talking about the new Countdown, and then I started going back to watching the episodes when he played Hero World and when he played Dragon World. If you notice in his Dragon World decks, especially when he got Super Drum or Super Armor Dragon Drum, he always had that boomerang super gal formation to get at least like 4 plus attacks off. I feel like superheroes, in the way that you can place them on the field, can get the exact same formation, and it definitely would be a good Omnilord to consider. Just because, to me, I definitely like decks that are really good with having like a 1/2 and a item type formation. I think they can maximize the most from that benefit. They can benefit the most from having those, from having it. So that's definitely, I'm definitely gonna pick up a few copies of that. I think that one's a good one for.
Yeah, some of my issues with the Super Gal formation is that, I mean, by playing Boomerang in the center, you're kind of forcing yourself to ignore maybe your emergency launch and your weapon attack if they have some big butt in the center. Because all of a sudden you can't really even make the most of Don, right?
Right. Well, with big threes, hopefully, if you have anybody out there, you got a Road Blader to destroy stuff, or at least answer to
Hopefully.
Final mode answer to be destroying your center monster. But I mean, I say play those. I wouldn't necessarily use them so much in that scenario with like big size trees. And that's I think that format. That's the thing. That's definitely a popular build, a popular choice of builds. But also, there's also other decks that are out there that are also just as popular, like Fifth Omnis, that don't play like that, and they invite to get hit. They're like, oh, cool, hit me. That's cool. So it's just a matter of knowing your matchup and knowing.
Probably got zeros sitting there too.
Yeah, and you more than likely most of those zeros you can snipe off with that Dawn because it's hitting for 2K, and there's not. I really can't think of a zero with 3K defense outside of
Fate
what's
Skeleton.
Fate? Well, Fate Skeleton, your 3/1/3s and your 3/1/3 stat zeros and Ice Blade has 3K. If I'm not mistaken.
They also
It's
cost
623. Yeah. So it's just it's gonna be an interesting card to play around with, but I would say like he definitely can help with like that extra ping of damage if you're going against an open center. And decks that are popular with that type of format right now are Knights, because you got the double weapons in the middle doing their work. Fifth Omni Lords, because they like, hey, hit me, I got skills to proc. But it also leaves them with a lot of 1s and 2s most of the time on the field too. And some of them you can easily try to snipe off with the little Don, like for example Doble. I think he's like a rapier stab with the gauge skill on hit or whenever you take damage. So it's just, I would say be wary of him when going up against side streets, unless you see like little zeros you can possibly snipe off with it. But if the center's open, you can do your superhero super gal formation. And I mean, there's no reason not to. It's another attack that they have to guard, or it puts them closer to death. You know. Excuse me.
That's about it.
Those are probably my 3 top Omni choices that I could think of personally.
so what were you? I heard Burn Nova, Dawn, and was the other one Drum?
No, it was Tembu, but the new drum is actually pretty decent too. The Omni drum.
I think
Which one? There are 3.
Oh yeah, crap. No. The original Omni drum.
Okay, because we got original Omni drum, we've got
Crimson.
Awakened Omni drum, and then we got Crimson coming in Buddy All Stars.
It's too many drums.
Yeah. I love them, but I'm only getting the SP. But nah, yeah, I think the Fifth Omni Lord Omni Drum, that one is another good choice as well. It's Soul Guard, and once you're at 6 or less life, that's when you're able to use your It's About Time I Got Serious, but as well, they have to be wary because now anytime you take damage, not only are you destroying their monsters, you're more than likely carrying their center open, so if they don't destroy you while he's popping monsters, cool, you now lead the way on your turn, just going straight down the middle. Like I said, superheroes hit hard. They hit hard and hit fast. And if this is open center, that's probably one of the more scary decks to go, to give room to just go hit down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Down the middle.
So I don't know if this would be a fair summary, but for the prospecting superhero players, I mean, to play superheroes successfully, don't give 2 shits about item hate, because it exists, and you run into it, you deal with it, and you always have a plan B transform, and you just do your thing, and eventually you'll get there.
Well, it's like superheroes with their spells and with their monsters, they're well-rounded. They're super well-rounded. And even with barbed wire being a thing. Okay, you rest the item. Well, on your turn, they're still defensive. They still have defensive capability just because their inherent defense doesn't go away. But if, let's say, their weapon does, the item gets popped, depending on how many transforms you have a lot of, like, you usually have a decent number that you can easily replace and ways to get them back. I also, like, again, something to consider, depending on how efficient your gauge usage is.
I've come back to take you down. That's
yes.
the spell that
yes. And on top of transmission, that gets stuff back as well. But also,
I knew something like this would happen.
If you're efficient with your gauge, if you're efficient with your gauge usage, emergency transform as the impact can also help you out.
No.
What?
Emergency you transform from the hand, and you have to pop a transform target as cost. So if they've already popped your own transform target, I mean, I guess you throw it down as a counter response, but
that's the thing. It's an option that you can do as a counter. If you have the option to counter, if you have the playtime and the counter, that's another way. That's another thing to be able to. Oh, cool! You popped, arrested. Okay, cool, fine. I transformed out. But it's one of those that I can't say. I'm not the biggest fan of going to just because of the gauge costs usually. And if your deck isn't good at like keeping the gauge up, like I know for example, like we play tested with what was it, Justin? Me and you play tested Guy Grander. That. Ooh.
Yeah, I've never played Guy Grander myself.
For me, I have terrible luck, so it's so inconsistent. It's like I never rolled into the regular Guy Grander, not once. I took it apart that same day.
How many of Guy Grander 2 did you run?
4.
I mean, there's no reason not to, in my opinion. Guy Grander 2.
When I hit Visium, I got him every game.
Oh man.
Well, that's just the voodoo buddy fight logic there. You gotta switch the sleeves, man. You gotta switch the sleeves.
Even though it has absolutely nothing to do with how the deck gets randomized.
Yeah.
But it works, and you can't argue with voodoo science.
I say foiling everything out too, because everything that's foiled seems to show up every time you need it.
Well, what if everything's foiled though?
Then everything shows up. Then you're literally, your next draw is like your whole deck.
Yeah, tell that to my SP Talicas that didn't show up at Continentals.
It's okay. I mean, I can only say it for myself. When I played Discard, everything was like almost foiled, and everything showed up like every time.
Yeah, trying to explain card game logic and card game voodoo to normal people is kind of hilarious.
Well, I mean, I feel like card game people would be the people that understood card game voodoo, though.
No, but try to explain it to normal people.
Well, normal people wouldn't be watching this to begin with.
No, I'm just saying, like, in conversation, trying to explain some of the frustrations. Like, whenever family or friends are like, why are you so frustrated right now? And trying to explain that you got screwed over by card game voodoo.
See, Leo did not believe me. He did not believe me, and I was like, look, I'm going to switch. We have 2 cards. You see this piece of crap all the time. I'm going to switch it with this card that you need. All right, let's play. Next game, he's like, it doesn't mean anything.
Oh, yeah, Leo's good for that, man.
Like, just because I drew it doesn't mean you're right.
Oh man, that's my dude, man. But yeah, me and him definitely went through some debates back and forth. I was like, bro, you can put other cards in Kai's around. He's like, no, you can't. I'm like, bro, but I just played someone who played Heroic Blader. He was like, oh man, he didn't have it in there when I played him. It's a case in point.
Heroic Blader's always a good card.
It is, and I like him a lot in both of those. I like him in Superheroes. I like him in Braves. Superheroes, he's like another pseudo. What's the really Mock Raver? Just instead of counter calling and redirecting stuff, he's another good size one with decent stats for a one with move.
And 2 crit.
For 2 crit and for like not that. Yeah, I almost want to say that. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I really can't think besides those two anything else in Hero World like the superheroes that move. Or please tell me there's more.
There are only 2 movers in Hero World.
Mark Raver, that dude.
Mark Raver and Heroic later, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, most of them things they're pretty stoic, man. They're stern. They don't like to go anywhere. But those guys are like the mobile guys.
There is one more. Is a rescue dragon, which gives all of your monsters on the field with rescue dragon.
Hold on, let me look.
No.
You're talking about Northern Bard. Northern Bard.
Yeah,
I see it.
he
Northern
requires
Bard.
you to have 2 other rescue. He requires you to have 2 rescue dragons on the field, and he gives both himself and the other one move.
That counts. That
My
counts.
rescue from that. It's so good.
Okay, so we have 2.5. 2.5.
I would say 2 1/4. I would say 2 1/4.
I mean, you could argue 4 because the random dude now has move.
Right?
Back to 2.5.
Right? That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna call it even at 2.5. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, bro, it's a tag team effort, man.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Technically, the card says all cards on your field gain move if you have 2 or more rescue dragons on the field, but you're not going to have 3 rescue dragons on the field. You're giving all 3 move because that's irrelevant.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
For now.
Right, and then they give you like there's like a left there's like a left spot.
What about up and down? Your dudes can fly now or some shit.
They have elevate and dig.
No, worse. They make that one center stage that you have in the anime where the monsters fight in an actual zone, and so when you go into combat, you would just like move one there and then just like shuffle them all around and have somebody gain effects whenever you move.
Bro, they're probably gonna make it like put them on a blade because you know that's exactly like the closest thing it looks like when you see those guys on the show. They all circle around and stuff, and the camera circles them all around. They're doing all this crazy battle stuff. It's like, yeah, just put those cards on Beyblades.
There you go.
Whatever.
Dude, I would drop serious cash for like a Beyblade version of Demios. Like,
oh my gosh, no.
that like sparks whenever it attacks.
I've been buying into the new Beyblades, man. So
Nah, I'm good, Doc.
no, they explode. They explode now.
How is that Beyblade stuff going for you, Zach?
I don't know. Whenever Danny tells me new
God.
shit's coming out, we buy it.
Must be nice.
With you guys.
So
Swag.
we got like 5 to 7 minutes left. Were there any other things that we didn't really hit? Do we kind of give a good summary of the deck and just go all in all the time? That superheroes are scary as shit. Archer's training is awesome with double. Even with Rampage Sonic, you have a 4 crit Rampage Sonic with emergency launch. That's game.
Yeah.
That's
also,
a
it gets
10 crit weapon. That's a 10k attack weapon with, oh my god.
With penetrate, 10k attack, yeah. Penetrate, 10k attack, 4 crit.
Yeah, that's pretty much. They have like the best rush in the game.
They're pretty good. I feel like the Purgatory Knights can still be extremely annoying, just because dark energy.
Yeah, I mean, I actually since Barbed Wire came out, I haven't lost to any Hero World decks.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that the item hate is real for Hero World, but I mean, it's a two-way street, and your opponent has to draw the item hate. I mean, it doesn't kill Kaiserion, doesn't kill Hero World. It slows them down, and it makes it so superheroes, you only really have 1 to 2 turns anyway in a reasonable game.
Yeah, especially against another rush deck.
So, I think that's probably it, right? You guys have anything you want to add to the live stream?
Live stream. I did want to say I haven't talked to anybody else about this yet, but for me, I think my competitive Well, yeah, my competitiveness is going to be overseen. Uh, if you guys don't know, I'm actually starting my own card shop. It's going to be called Superstar Card Games that I'll be opening up in January. So I may not be doing any big competitions anymore because I just can't see myself leaving town and just starting up. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But you
everything.
will be getting a card shop though, so that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm doing it for my local community. Like a lot of guys that were starting to quit because our local shop, we had to move to another shop because he basically gave us an ultimatum for Buddyfight because he wasn't moving his Vanguard stuff. He basically said either we buy all of the Vanguard stuff or he's gonna drop Buddyfight. And I was just like, why? Like Buddyfight has nothing to do. So I mean, long story short, we left. We found another spot, but it's like so far that a lot of people can't make it. So I'm doing this for the players. Bring the kids back this January. I messaged a lot of them and they're excited. So woohoo. Hopefully I can stay open for longer than 2 years.
That's definitely exciting. I can't wait to show up at your shop and wreck your players.
I doubt it's gonna go that easily.
Oh, I know. I'm just being sarcastic. It's actually really good.
I hope I can come out for this one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be doing all kinds of giveaways and stuff. You know, I like to do stuff for the community. So I'm not quitting by far. I'm not quitting Buddy Fight. I may quit Vanguard, but I'm not quitting Buddy Fight.
I must say, bro, you love the game too much to quit it, man. Don't do that. Vanguard, I don't really see you talk much about it ever, except I hate it. Oh, I play Shadows, but.
Yep, that's it. That's me in a nutshell when it comes to that game.
Anyway, so anyone else? Any last words for our live stream viewers?
Well, I just want to say we've talked about Brave Machines. We talked a lot about superheroes, but I think Justin, you can attest to, being a master of darkness, that there is something to be feared with Dark Heroes. That might be an interesting dark horse to see with SD Schwartz and see how that pans out this format.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that deck to see if it has anything extra
Oh,
to it.
don't they get Nameless Assassin too? Isn't he like pretty decent too?
Nameless Assassin's pretty decent. The gauge call cost for him does get a little bit annoying after a while. He's definitely really good side fodder because you side him in for any of the big beefy I have soul decks, and you're like, that's cute. Also, I believe Nameless Assassin is the only card that lets you, the player summoning him, pick which card leaves your opponent's soul. So against Star Dragon World, you're just like, you don't get that one.
No. Actually, in Darkness Dragon World, we have a card. I forgot his name in English. I think it's Thirsting Creatures Danzara or the One Who Seeks Danzara. I forgot what they use for English, but we can actually remove soul from anything on the field.
Mm.
Yeah, actually won that helped me win the first DMV Cup. Lethal Formation.
Blow up out of here.
Yeah. So
that's gross.
There's that, and I mean I've been tinkering around with Dark Heroes, so that's something because I'm trying to expand my my view a little bit and enjoy more of Hero World as a whole instead of just the Brave Machine corner. So that's one thing that I'm not seeing a lot of people talking about because SD Schwartz makes a lot of the plays really, really good.
I agree. Especially now, like I think it opens up a couple of more. I think it opens up a few more plays for them, especially with gauge, with some of your weapons, some of your spells and stuff that require a little bit more gauge. Like I feel like it makes them slightly more flexible with Schwartz skill, Schwartz SD skill. I won't know for sure until I get to play test those things myself, but I probably won't because I'm not the biggest Dark Hero guy. But I'm pretty sure I'll fight a lot of it. But I'm probably gonna build it on the side just to play because I want to.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean that's Dark Hero talk, and we can save Dark Hero talk for when we actually talk Dark Heroes.
Yeah.
But like just to close out the stream, Buddy Fight Day, December 12th at Dream Wizards in Rockville, Maryland. The next weekend, we have our Dynasty Cup event, which will be 12/19 at Chippy Cards and Games LLC in Ellicott City, Maryland. And we will have live stream capability set up for it, too.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see you all there.
Yep, and as always, guys, thanks for watching.
All right.